What's going on, guys? So a quick overview of today's training. I was to do 4 sets of 4 pause reps with what you can see on the screen, which is 208 kilos or 458 pounds. That works out at 75%, I believe. There or thereabouts. And then again, bench press was the same again, 4 sets of 4, 122.5 kilograms or 270 pounds, and then just some accessory work. But actually, what we're going to talk about in today's video is why I actually train in my garage. I've been asked a lot of questions as to like why I train alone and why I train myself in the garage. And quite frankly, well, first of all, I don't really tend to train alone. I tend to train with Robbie, or I train with Robbie as much as we possibly can together, as he is at school or is something kind of down south with his girlfriend. Alright, but anyway, the reason I train in my garage, quite frankly, is because you really need to create an environment that is going to be suitable to the way you like to train, and that will totally depend on the way that you like to train. You might be a very, very methodical and quiet lifter, or you might be a very, very intense or hyped up lifter, and you really need to kind of find an environment that you can replicate that whenever you feel the need to be able to replicate that and train the way that you like to train. I mean, for example, if you're training for a powerlifting competition, but at the gym you're not allowed to use chalk, or you're not allowed to maybe shout, or you're not allowed to smell smelling salts, or you're not allowed to use baby powder, or if you even put the weight down on a deadlift and it makes any form of noise, you get kicked out of the gym. Those are the kind of environments that you really are not going to be able to progress in. You really need to focus on the environment you're training in. And quite frankly, with me, all the gyms around the area, when I created my garage, I didn't have a car because I was only, I believe, 18, I believe. I didn't have a car, so the only gyms I had within walking distance were not suitable to the environment I wanted. We were barely allowed to deadlift, and we did, but we got shouted at. Chalk was really frowned upon. You weren't allowed to make any noise, and overall, they just kind of somewhat discriminated against anyone trying to progress in the weight room, and that's not an environment I could progress in. So I thought, well, I've got a garage that isn't being used, so let's start putting money away every month from my paycheck, and I funded the whole garage myself. Every penny that's ever went into the garage has been out of my own bank account through working for myself. And I created an environment that is going to allow me to progress in the way I do. Now, I don't have any fancy equipment. All I've literally got is a squat rack, a bench press, a dip, a bar, and weights, and I've got some dumbbells, and I've got a couple of kettlebells. But the kettlebells are mainly just to make sure that the squat stand doesn't tip over. But that's the reason why I train in my garage, is because in that garage I am able to put whatever music I want on. I'm able to set the tone completely. I'm able to set the environment completely. I'm able to do what I want, and overall I'm able to control every aspect of the environment to the way that I need to train, and that is what's going to allow me to progress to the best of my abilities. Because again, like I said, if you cannot control the environment, or even not control the environment, but if you can't walk into an environment that is controlled to the way you need to train, you're really not going to be able to progress, because it's just not going to fit. And you could put it, I mean, for example, say you're trying to study for school. Well, if you're trying to study for school, are you going to go out and study next to roadworks with all the noise coming from the roadworks? Of course you're not, because you're not going to be able to properly study for your school or for your test or for whatever it is. So therefore, that environment is not good. You're going to deliberately control the environment and go into a room where there's not very much distractions. It's quiet and it's just you and whatever form of studying tools you're using. Therefore, you set the environment, right? It's the same with every aspect of life. So it's the same with the gym. You need to go in and be able to set the environment, and that is why. And yeah, I'm working towards getting a little bit better equipment. I'm working towards maybe getting a new squat rack, getting a glute ham raise, maybe getting some cable machines, stuff like that. Maybe getting a second bar, but just things like that. But yeah, that is exactly why I train in the garage gym. So I hope you've enjoyed today's training footage, guys, and also today's talk. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll speak to all of you guys next time.
That's probably when it plays.